A man was eating some booty. And just a few weeks later, he wound up with a drain surgically inserted into his abdomen. Here is what happened to his liver. HG is a 25-year-old male presenting to the emergency room with 2.5 weeks of pain in the right upper side of his abdomen. Doctors and nurses initially noticed that HG has a fever with a temperature over 102 degrees Fahrenheit, and when they press in the right upper quadrant of his abdomen where his liver and gallbladder are located, he's very, very tender. HG then tells the medical staff that he recently emigrated to the United States from Honduras. He then endorses a history of bloating and some diarrhea, some pretty nasty stuff over the past few days. While HG is stable right now, the providers taking care of him are worried. They fear that with his recent travel history, they may be dealing with something different. A variety of tests are sent over to the lab, and HG is started on IV fluids before being rushed over to CAT scan. You see, HG, he's an adventurous guy. He'll go anywhere and do just about anything. He eats healthy and doesn't think that his diet is to blame for his symptoms. He works out about 5 days a week and feels that he's in great physical shape. After all, he's trying to break into a career as a dancer. One day, he and his cameraman were down at the beach filming some content for his YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe. When sparks flew between the cameraman and HG. After all, HG was blowing up on social media. He had just signed a deal to move to the United States and continue his dancing career. HG, knowing that he would be leaving Honduras soon, enjoyed one of his last nights on the soft Central American sands and an intimate night with his cameraman and the sound of the ocean. Now, back to the hospital where the results of HG's tests are in. Indicating signs of infection, HG's white blood cell count is elevated. We call this leukocytosis. The measurement of alkaline phosphatase is elevated while albumin is low, both of which could indicate some type of liver damage. It isn't until the results of the CAT scan come back that show the real extent of the liver damage. Abdominal pelvic CT with IV and enteric contrast show multiple fluid collections measuring nearly 10 centimeters behind the right lobe of the liver. Also on the right side of HG was a small pleural effusion, or fluid, on the lungs. The hospitalists consulted with the interventional radiologists who helped drain the fluid collection from HG's liver. A tube was then inserted into HG's abdomen, and purulent or pus-like fluid was then drained from these fluid collections and then sent to the lab for further analysis. The results are in. HG was suffering from a parasitic protozoal infection. The name of the pathogen, Entamoeba histolytica. Now you see, what has occurred here is that the cysts from the amoeba were consumed by HG. They made their way down to his intestine where they began to destroy the mucus lining and invade the bloodstream where they can go on to affect other organs like the liver or the brain. The cysts open in a process called excistation within the small intestine, thus releasing little monsters called trophozoites in your GI tract, which can then produce even more of these cysts. Now you guys, the cysts from this amoeba, well, they're stronger than Lady Gaga's vocal cords.
I'm gonna be a superstar.
They survive stomach acid and can live in the outside world on surfaces, food, everywhere, for days. Waiting for you to ingest them, where they can multiply again in your GI tract and continue their life cycle. Aside from eating tainted food, another way you can ingest this amoeba is by eating some booty. When HG and his photographer friend had their romantic beach evening in Honduras, well, HG got more than just frosting from that cake. Microscopic amoebic cysts made their way from the photographer's dump truck down through HG's GI tract, and in about 90% of cases, the amoeba is confined to the GI tract and is usually asymptomatic since it doesn't invade any further. And you could be pooping out the cysts from this amoeba and not even know it, have no symptoms. Thankfully for HG, he was started on an IV antibiotic called metronidazole, or Flagyl, which is well known to help with infections like this. He was also started on a second antibiotic, pain was managed, he was continued on IV fluids, and monitored. The tube draining the abscess put out about 10 milliliters of drainage per day and was removed on hospital day 9. Repeat CAT scans of HG's belly showed decreased size of the abscess within the liver. On hospital day 10, HG was discharged with ongoing use of antibiotics and made a full recovery. Entamoeba histolytica is a big issue in India, Africa, Mexico, as well as Central and South America. Only about 4% of cases are seen in the United States, and this is largely a result of emigration. The life cycle of this single-celled organism is really a roller coaster through our system, from mouth to anus, with a little party in the intestines. And so I just want to caution you all that this exists and to be careful out there when you're in one of these countries eating takeout or eating take-in. I hope you liked this case. I had a lot of fun putting it together. Please subscribe, like, hit that bell notification so you don't miss out on any content. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, don't forget to live your life out loud.